Major militaries around the world have experimented with development of attack helicopters since the 1940s, although it was only from the late 1960s that such aircraft began to receive serious investment, leading them to be considered indispensable assets by the final decade of the Cold War. In today's video, Bitfirst team has presented the top 10 best attack helicopters. Though, there are few disagreements among the fans of helicopters as for which helicopter deserves the top spot. So, without further ado, let's meet these bad boys. The Eurocopter Tiger, now known as the Airbus Tiger, is a modern, multi-role attack helicopter developed jointly by France and Germany. The helicopter was issued in 1984, and the maiden flight of a Tiger took place in 1991. The Tiger is known for its agility, firepower, and advanced avionics, making it a formidable asset on the battlefield. The Tiger has proven its capabilities during operational deployments in Afghanistan, the Central African Republic, Libya, and Mali. The Eurocopter Tiger features a sleek and aerodynamic design, with a tandem cockpit configuration to accommodate a pilot and a weapons systems operator. The Tiger's weapons systems are integrated with its advanced sensor suite, providing the crew with enhanced situational awareness and target acquisition capabilities. The Tiger head is highly agile, benefiting from a 13-meter, four-bladed hingeless main rotor. In addition, the Tiger head has combat external fuel tanks for longer mission flight times, an extended flight domain in which Spike and Hellfire anti-tank missiles can be fired, and digital communications for the modern digitized battlefield. HAL Light Combat Helicopter. The Hindustan Aeronautics Ltd. Light Combat Helicopter was developed from that company's Dhruv utility helicopter. The LCH has a narrow fuselage. The helicopter has crash-worthy landing gear and bottom structure for better survivability of the pilots. This machine has a number of stealth features such as canted flat panels to reduce radar cross-section. Rotor blades have advanced shapes to reduce noise. Exhaust gases are mixed and cooled in order to reduce IR signature. Cockpit has flat glass panels in order to reduce light reflections. The main role of this attack helicopter is anti-armor and anti-infantry operations, scouting, destruction of enemy air defense units, escort of vehicles and helicopters. It can be used against slow-flying aerial targets, such as UAVs. It can also support combat search and rescue operations. This helicopter has a front-mounted target acquisition and designation system with FLIR. Sensor Suite was developed in cooperation with Israel. Electronic Warfare Suite has been developed by Saab of South Africa. The second prototype of the light combat helicopter was fitted with weaponry. It is armed with a 20mm turret-mounted cannon. Both gun and THL-20 turret were developed in France by Nexter. This attack helicopter has detachable stub wings. It can carry various rockets. These include 60, 70, or 80mm unoperated rockets, Helena long-range anti-tank missiles, anti-radiation, and air-to-air missiles. This helicopter can also carry freefall bombs. It is reported that helicopter will be equipped with helmet-mounted targeting systems. It can conduct day and night combat operations. The light combat helicopter is optimized for high-altitude operations. This feature was added keeping in mind Kargil conflict between Indian and Pakistani soldiers in high-altitude mountainous region. This machine is powered by two HAL/Turbomika Shakti turboshaft engines. This engine was jointly developed by Indian and French companies. It also powers HAL Dhruv helicopters that were produced since 2007. Denel Rooivalk. The Rooivalk was conceived in the 1980s as tank buster operating in a high-threat, high-intensity environment. The Rooivalk drop tank is 3.45 meters long, 0.64 meters in diameter, and has a fuel capacity of 550 liters. It weighs 51.5 kilograms empty and 496 kilograms full. The center section is made of metal, while the nose and tail section and being made from composite materials. Lightning protection was designed into the tank for all-weather operation. Full glass, step tandem cockpits with an environmental control system. The cockpits for the pilot and weapon systems officer are equipped with hands-on collective and stick controls, as well as 3 LCD displays. The third display is used for threat warning. There is no head-up display, but symbology is displayed on the helmet visor in full color. Fully integrated, dual redundant MILSTD-1553B based avionics and weapons system, providing the total mission modes, target acquisition, flight control, health and usage monitoring, communications, threat detection and control, flight and fuel, stores management and accurate navigation management features. The Rooivalk Self-Defense Suite is the fully integrated helicopter electronic warfare self-protection suite, incorporating radar warning, laser warning, and countermeasures dispensing system. The platform uses the IDAS suite from Saab Avitronics. The navigation computer is a hybridized system using both global positioning system and inertial navigation system inputs. The Rooivalk is equipped with an advanced navigation suite including Doppler radar velocity sensor, Thales avionics 8-channel global positioning system, heading sensor unit, and an air data unit. It also includes radio navigation equipment. In November 2007, the South African government announced they would invest $137 million in the Rooivalk to bring it up to operational status by 2011. The Rooivalk underwent specific upgrades and modifications from 2007 and became fully operational on April 1, 2011. Agusta A129 Mangusta. The A129 was powered by twin Rolls-Royce Gem 2 Mark 1004D turboshafts with an emergency rating of 772 kilowatts, license built by Piaggio under the designation RR 1004. The engines were separated by an armored firewall, and each engine had its own fuel system with a cross-feed to allow each engine to draw from the other's fuel system. The engine installations were designed to reduce noise and infrared signature. Infrared suppressors could be fitted to the exhausts. Triple redundant hydraulic systems were used to ensure reliability. The fuselage could resist hits from projectiles ranging in size up to 12.7 millimeters. The main rotor had 4 blades, while the tail rotor had 2. The rotor blades were made of composite materials and were also designed to withstand 12.7 mm projectile hits and tolerate 23 mm projectile hits. The blades could chop through tree branches 15 centimeters thick. The rotor hubs used elastomeric bearings that didn't require lubrication. The main rotor driveshaft was hollow to allow fit of a mast-mounted sight. The fixed tailwheel landing gear was heavily braced with shock absorbers. The stub wings could be raised 3 degrees and lowered 12 degrees from the horizontal. The Mangusta had no built-in armament. Its main weapon was the US-built TOW wire-guided anti-tank missile. In addition, the Mangusta could carry stores such as 70mm or 81mm unguided rocket pods, or 7.62mm, 12.7mm, or 20mm gun pods. A typical weapon load was a 4-round TOW pack on each outer pylon, for a total of 8 TOWs, and an unguided rocket or gun pod on each inner pylon. Maximum weapons load was 1,200 kilograms, 2,645 pounds. The Italian A129 is significantly less capable than a contemporary US AH-64 Apache, AH-1W Super Cobra, or Russian Ka-50 or Mi-28 attack helicopters. It loses to these helicopters in all key areas, including firepower, survivability, speed, and range. In fact, the Agusta is one of the least capable gunships that are currently in service. The China Z-10. The Z-10 is the new Chinese attack helicopter. Its development began in the mid-1990s. It has been designed with extensive technical assistance from Eurocopter and Agusta. Other sources claim that development of the Z-10 has been assisted by Russian Kamov Helicopter Design Bureau. Prototype of the Z-10 made its maiden flight in 2003. Initial production gunships were delivered to the Chinese Army in around 2009 to 2010. Currently, the Z-10 gunship is widely used by the Chinese Army Aviation. This helicopter has been exported to Pakistan. A first batch of 3 helicopters was delivered in 2015. The Z-10 is the first dedicated modern Chinese attack helicopter. It is believed that it is in the same class as the AH-2 Rooivalk and the A-129 Agusta, however it is not as capable as the AH-64 Apache. Primary mission of the Z-10 is anti-armor and battlefield interdiction. It also has some limited air-to-air combat capabilities. The Z-10 helicopter has a standard gunship configuration with a narrow fuselage and step tandem cockpits. Gunner is seated at the front and the pilot is at the rear. The fuselage has sloped sides to reduce radar cross-section. All vital areas are believed to be protected by armor plates. Weapons of the Z-10 may consist of 30mm cannon, HJ-8 or HJ-9 anti-tank guided missiles, newly developed HJ-10 anti-tank missiles, TY-90 air-to-air missiles. It can also carry unoperated rocket pods. The prototype of the Z-10 was powered by 2 Canadian Pratt & Whitney PT6C67C turboshaft engines, developing one 531 shop each. However, indigenous engines were planned to be used on production helicopters. It is likely that the Z-10 might use engines of the WZ-9 helicopter, however these are less powerful than Canadian design. This helicopter may be fitted with a fly-by-wire control, helmet-mounted sight for head-up display, television and forward-looking infrared sensors, radar and laser warning receivers, infrared jammer and decoy dispensers. Kamov Ka-52. The Kamov Ka-52 Alligator, NATO reporting name Ka-50, is a 2-seat version of the Ka-50. It is a multi-role all-weather attack helicopter, capable operating in daytime and at night. Development started in 1994 and the type was first flown in 1997. The Ka-52 was widely used during the Russian invasion in Ukraine, alongside its rival, the Mi-28. The Ka-52 shares 85% of its airframe, parts, components, and systems with the original single-seat Ka-50. Most of the changes were made to the cockpit. The Ka-52 can be recognized from the Ka-50 by a wider nose and twin-seat cockpit. Seats are arranged side by side. Both pilots have full controls of the helicopter. Such arrangement simplifies operation of the helicopter during combat. The Kamov Ka-52 Alligator is fitted with uprated TV3-117 VM8 turboshaft engines. The Ka-50 has unique maneuverability, which was derived from its 2 coaxial contrarotating main rotors. It is among the most maneuverable helicopters in the world. Armor of the Alligator withstands hits from 23mm projectiles. Pilots are seated in ejection seats. The helicopter can fly with one engine disabled. A number of Ka-52 helicopters were shot down in Ukraine. Nevertheless, it proved to be a very survivable machine. There were a number of cases when the Ka-52 was hit by a missile, but still managed to make a controlled landing or even to return to base. This is due to its design with contra-rotating rotors. The data is classified, but judging from Ukrainian claims and images of shot-down Ka-52 helicopters, it seems that many Russian pilots survived when their Ka-52 was shot down. In 2023, there was even a case when the Ka-52 was hit by a Ukrainian surface-to-air missile, which has torn its tail. However, the helicopter managed to return to base. This is due to coaxial configuration of the rotors. Other attack helicopters lose control when their tail or tail rotor are damaged, but it is not the case with the Ka-52, as it has no tail rotor. The Ka-52 retains all combat capabilities of its predecessor, the Ka-50. It is armed with a side-mounted 30mm cannon. There are 6 external hardpoints for different combinations of weapons, including anti-tank missiles, air-to-air missiles, pods with unguided rockets, bombs. For anti-armor missions, it is armed with up to 12 Vickers ATGMs. These have a range of up to 10,000 m and penetrate up to 1,000 mm of steel armor behind explosive reactive armor. So the Vickers missiles are capable of defeating even the most protected main battle tanks. The downside of this Russian attack helicopter comparing with modern rivals is its sensors. Russian pilots were complaining that it is hard to distinguish on the screen with low resolution a destroyed armored vehicle from an operational one. Operational use in Ukraine revealed that sometimes pilots arrived on the given coordinates to engage targets, but as there were numerous destroyed vehicles on the battlefield from both sides, it was unclear which one to attack. The Russian Ka-52 helicopters were widely used during the 2022 invasion to Ukraine. During the first 8 months of war, there were 23 verified losses of Ka-52s. Unit price of the Ka-52 is around $16 million. Mi-24. The Mi-24, Western reporting name Hind, is one of the most widely known assault helicopter gunships in the world. The Mi-24 is certainly one of the most capable attack helicopters. It is fast, agile, heavily armed and armored. It can be used for close air support, anti-tank operations, assault transport, or aerial combat. The definitive production variant was the Mi-24D, Western reporting name Hind D, produced since 1973 to 1977. Over 600 of these helicopters were built. It was the most numerous version of the Mi-24. Its export version was the Mi-25. This version introduced heavily armored, stepped cockpits and an undernose gun turret. The cockpit is protected by ballistic-resistant windscreens and titanium armored tub. Vital components of the helicopter are also armored. These are bullet-resistant to up to 12.7 mm heavy machine gun fire. Even its rotor blades are made of titanium. This gunship has a crew of 3, including pilot, gunner, and flight engineer. It can also carry up to 8 fully equipped troops or 12 partially equipped soldiers. So this gunship has a significant transport capability. Due to this feature, it is typically used in different manners than other attack helicopters. It can be used for tactical airmobile operations. For example, the Mi-24 can soften enemy defenses or suppress enemy fire before landing its troops. Once the troops are on the ground, this gunship can support them with its weapons. These helicopters can land their troops behind enemy lines, quickly capturing key objectives. It can be also used to neutralize enemy artillery, anti-tank systems, armored vehicles, tanks, and so on. This helicopter is capable of a mixed armament loadout. Early versions of the Hind gunship carried 9 M17P Scorpion anti-tank guided missiles. However, it is not a dedicated anti-tank helicopter, but rather a ground support helicopter. The Mi-24 is extremely fast. In 1976, a version of this helicopter set an official world speed record of 368 km per hour. No other helicopter could beat this record until 1986. By 2022, value of a used Mi-24 in good condition is around $12.5 million. Most of the Mi-24 helicopters were retired, but a number of these gunships are still in operational service. Various upgrade programs are available and market for upgrades remains substantial. Mi-28. Looking like a Soviet Apache, the Havoc has suffered a development history about as protracted as the Tiger, except in this case due to a lack of interest from the Russian Defense Ministry rather than German indecisiveness. Learning from the experience of operating the Mi-24, a requirement was drawn up in the late 70s for a new helicopter that would be a dedicated gunship lacking the ability to carry armed troops. However, a small compartment to carry 3 personnel remains, allowing rescued aircrew to travel in slightly more comfort than sat on the chin pods as they do with the Apache. First flight was in 1982, but by the end of '84 the Ka-50 had been chosen as the new anti-tank helicopter. This is where things should have ended, however MIL continued development, improving the aircraft's capabilities so that by 1995 the Mi-28N emerged with better navigation equipment to allow night and all-weather operation. The Mi-28 has a conventional helicopter gunship layout with the pilot in the rear and gunner in front. It is armed with a 30mm trainable cannon housed in a turret under the nose. Twin 150-round ammunition boxes are co-mounted to traverse, elevate, and depress together with the gun. So a total of 300 rounds of ammunition are carried for the main gun. The gun is identical to that of Russian BMP-3 infantry fighting vehicle and uses the same ammunition. Each ammunition box can be loaded with different types of ammunition. This gunship can also carry 2 pods with 80mm unguided rockets and 16 anti-tank guided missiles. For anti-armor missions, the Mi-28 can be equipped with Attica, Sturm V, or Viker anti-tank guided missiles. The Mi-28's cockpit is compatible with night vision goggles. The pilot has a head-up display and one CRT on which TV imaging can be displayed. The primary sensor package comprises the optical sights and laser rangefinder in an undernose turret. The crew are protected by energy-absorbing seats, and an emergency escape system allows the crew to escape safely by parachute. A hatch in the port side, to the rear of the wing, gives access to the avionics compartment and a space large enough to accommodate 2 or 3 passengers during a combat rescue. A study made in 2011 revealed that the Mi-28N helicopter has a mean time between failures of 8.1 hours. The venerable Mi-24 had an average failure rating of 13.9 hours. So the Mi-28, or at least helicopters produced until 2011, cannot be called reliable machines. Unit cost of the Mi-28N is around $18 million. Bell AH-1Z Viper. The Bell AH-1Z Viper is a modern version of the AH-1 Cobra, the first ever attack helicopter. The modern version is also called Zulu Cobra in reference to its variant letter. Since its introduction in the mid-1960s, the original Cobra has been constantly improved and upgraded. The latest 1Z Viper is a result of H-1 helicopter upgrade program for the U.S. Marine Corps. That was launched by the U.S. government in 1996. The Bell Helicopter Company was eventually awarded a contract to deliver both upgraded and newly built Vipers to the U.S. Marine Corps. The Viper gunship was developed alongside the UH-1Y Venom utility helicopter under the same program. The Viper is a direct derivative of the AH-1W Super Cobra. It is one of the most powerful, capable, and advanced helicopters flying today. The AH-1Z made its first flight back in 2000. It was introduced to the U.S. Marine Corps in 2010. Full-scale production commenced in 2012. Marines plan to receive a total of 189 Vipers until 2019. In 2015, it was announced that 12 of these gunships will be delivered to Pakistan. Upgrades of the 1Z Viper included implementation of state-of-the-art weapons and digital technology to respond to modern demands for contemporary warfare. The Viper features outstanding flying and combat capabilities. The Viper has essential changes in propulsion. It is powered by two General Electric turboshaft engines and has uprated transmission. One of the main external differences from the AH-1W is a composite four-bladed main rotor instead of the previous two-bladed rotor. It reduced vibrations by up to 70%. It is worth noting that a two-bladed rotor was a distinctive feature of all previous Bell helicopter models. However, due to these changes, flying characteristics improved a lot. Despite all improvements and upgrades, appearance of the Viper remains the same. Pilot is seated at the rear and co-pilot at the front. Layout of two integrated digital cockpits is identical and all systems are duplicated. This helicopter uses off-the-shelf electronic systems. It can operate in day, night, or adverse weather conditions. It has night vision twinned with infrared and new target search and acquisition software. It permits Viper to find and engage targets at long range. It can be fitted with longbow fire control radar mounted on wingtip station. Also, there is automatic flight control station. Armament of the Viper is very flexible. It is enhanced by helmet-mounted sight and display system. The AH-1Z carries about 2T of various weapons on stub wings. Typically, it carries up to 16 AGM-114A, B, C Hellfire anti-tank missiles and pods with 70mm unguided rockets. The Viper can be also fitted with AGM-114F Hellfire anti-ship missiles, freefall bombs, including the Mk.77 incendiary bombs. It can also carry two Fire and Forget AIM-9 Sidewinder short-range air-to-air missiles. These are mounted on wingtip stations. Also, there is a 20mm three-barrel cannon. A number of improvements were made to survivability and crashworthiness of the helicopter. It is fitted with infrared suppression system which covers engine exhausts, laser and radar warning systems, and radar jammer. It also has smart countermeasures dispenser with missile warning device. Latest airframe technologies were implemented, such as crashworthy seats, energy-absorbing landing gear, self-sealing fuel tanks and fuel systems, and fuel vapor inerting systems. Fuselage of the helicopter and external components were coated to avoid corrosion during prolonged service at sea. These helicopters typically operate from amphibious assault ships. Boeing AH-64A Apache. Designed in 1972 to meet the U.S. Army's need for an advanced attack helicopter, the AH-64A has taken over the mantle of the world's premier attack helicopter from the Bell AH-1 Cobra. The first Hughes YAH-64 prototype flew on September 30, 1975, the program coming under the jurisdiction of McDonnell Douglas from August 1985 and Boeing from 1997. Features of the Apache include two T-700 engines flat-rated to provide high emergency power, with large black hole IR-suppressing exhaust systems, a large flat-plate canopy with Baran armor, multi-spar stainless steel and glass fiber rotor blades designed to withstand 23mm hits, comprehensive avionics and weapon fits, and numerous features to protect the crew, including crash-resistant seats and an airframe designed to withstand ballistic impact from guns up to 12.7mm caliber. The Apache's primary sensor is the Martin Marietta Target Acquisition and Designation Site, or Pilot's Night Vision System, that combines a low-light level TV, laser designator, and forward-looking infrared. Both crew members use various sophisticated sensors and systems for the detection and attack of targets, including the integrated helmet and display sighting system, which provides a monocular helmet-mounted designator. The helicopter was first blooded in combat during Operation Just Cause over Panama in December 1989 and went on to serve with devastating effect during the 1991 Gulf War. Apaches fired the first shots of that short-lived conflict. AH-64s have been exported to Egypt, Greece, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the United Arab Emirates. The D itself is now being phased out by the AH-64E Guardian, which features improved communications and data processing, more powerful T-700 engines, and the ability to control UAVs. Foreign operators of the Apache include the Netherlands, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Israel, and the UK, which selected a modified locally produced variant, the WAH-64D. Apart from folding blades to ease operation from the Royal Navy's carriers, the main difference was a change of engine to the RTM-322, giving a useful extra 400 shp. This did, however, alter the center of gravity and lost some of the advantages of having commonality with the 90% of D models that weren't made in Somerset. Consequently, the UK will from 2020 replace its Apaches with E models from the Boeing production line, reusing high-value components where possible. Current production is expected to run until 2026, 50 years after the first example flew, and thanks to continual development, it remains the standard to beat. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and if you found the content interesting, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. In this way, YouTube will notify you of the upcoming videos.